Hiya, pals. Hi, pals, and welcome to the Disneyland Paris Show. Here's your hosts, Lucy, Chris, and Hugh. Gosh. And now, Disneyland Paris news.
Time for a refresh.
Ain't no party like an AP party.
Breaking the set.
Hi there, ho there, Disney pals, and welcome to a very special Halloween-ish edition.
Is it special?
Not really. We've got a different
What's mine?
backdrop. You guys put on a spooky voice. I didn't want to because I'm not a very scary person. And yeah, we've got a special backdrop, and that's about it. However, it is Halloween on Tuesday. We've spent the evening carving pumpkins. We went on a welly walk in a haunted wood.
I've made the effort. I'm wearing a skeleton top, and these two are just in what I would call normal clothes.
Yeah, I've got a green shirt on underneath. I was a bit worried I might disappear though if I reveal it, so I'm keeping my jumper on nice and toasty.
Will this glow in the dark? Can I turn the lights off? Will it mess everything up?
I had to try it, see what happens.
Nope. It does glow in the dark.
It does glow in the dark.
That was fun. But I found something out about glow in the dark. I mean, I guess we already know it because the glow in the dark stuff is charged by light, obviously.
Yeah.
But that if you like fire a torch at glow in the dark stuff, you can write on it. So Lucas wore a skeleton shirt a bit like that yesterday, and we were writing on the skeleton bits with a torch, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. A lot of fun. Do it.
Clever. Clever.
Try it yourselves.
Right, we have got a couple of small bits of news today. Nothing heavy, not a large amount, but we do have trip reports and things.
Four
Exactly.
trip reports.
It's got plenty of that to look over. But before that, I've already spotted people in the chat who are here for the very first time, and I think that they deserve a shout out, Christopher.
Who are they?
All aboard, please.
Guess who was first today? The Dunn family. Hello, everyone. How is everyone? Kiss, kiss, kiss.
Old news.
Normal service is resumed.
Yeah.
It is.
Let's start with this one. It says, hey, lovelies. Can't wait for the show. Very excited to hear and see all your Halloween goodies. Oh, us. Oh.
Ah.
Yeah. I got a skeleton jumper. Did I mention that?
Yeah, and if we do a close-up at any point, look, there's a spider.
Hello to John. Happy almost Halloween. Gareth Pierce Theme Parks is in the chat. Bonnie is here under Lucy's name. Hello, Bonnie. Hello to Emma and Aaron, who is travelling back from London Comic Con, so probably won't be able to stay around, but hope you've all had a lovely day. And Andrew is here, and Jimmy with the old pink hand, and Katie, and Kelfie. Bonnie says, don't forget to like and subscribe. I mean, who can argue with that?
She's well trained.
Hello to Ashley. I'm actually catching a live. Currently looking into DLP for the first time next year with my 7 and 2-year-old.
Oh, exciting times.
Love getting all your news and tips.
Okay, here's my tip. Do it.
Do it.
Book it. Book it now.
Do it. Do it. Hello to Adam. Good evening. Long-time listener. First time ever watching live and in the chats. Well,
Golly gosh.
I hope it's a special one for you and Ashley. A magical time. Hello to Mercedes. Hey, gang. Currently unloading the dishwasher and washing bottles. Baby bottles.
know how to live.
And suddenly remembered to join the live. Well, that's rock and roll,
Do you
isn't it?
know, we recently spent a full week with some friends who've got a new baby, and they seem to spend all week like meticulously sterilising their bottles with special equipment.
I forgot about the
And
sterilising.
I don't even remember doing it, really.
Oh, yeah. Don't you remember that big tub of...
We had tablets, didn't we?
Yeah. We had to put everything
Milton
in and like
tablets.
push the thing down on the top. Yeah, I think so.
We had one that you plugged in and it had, you just put like a little bit of water in the bottom and it just did it.
All right.
That was
I
fun.
don't remember that.
I do.
I don't remember it being quite as big a constant deal as
Maybe
it was.
I just did it.
I think maybe you just did it.
And finally, hello to Stelly, who is happy to be watching this week, not in hospital. That's good to hear, Stelly. And and Sarah and Wits Wanderlust, who is happy to be back. Now, Whitney, remember, went on holiday with Grandma.
Yeah.
And so we've been enjoying the updates there. And
where have we been enjoying these bits?
And Katie with a Y. So Katie was IE and Katie with a Y. It was it Disneyland or Disney World?
No, I mean, where were we enjoying hearing about it?
Oh, on our Facebook group.
Oh, we have a Facebook group.
Yes, did you not know?
Pluggity plug.
Yeah. Yep. And Katie with a Y is also watching for the first time, going on Tuesday for the first time.
Actually, on Halloween.
That's going to be fun.
I recommend you do not watch Final Destination in the next couple of days.
What?
Do you mean Final Destination 2?
Because it's the
Three.
travelling on Halloween and stuff.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
I knew what I meant. Right. Fantastic. Should we do some news?
Yeah.
We recently accidentally invented this game of try and guess what the news headline means, and I quite like it. So now I'm deliberately making them cryptic, see if people can guess. So I'm going to start at the end. I think this is... No, shall I start? There's one that's quite hard. No, I'll go with the first one.
Okay.
Time for a refresh. What's the news?
I don't... Oh, right, we've got to guess. Right.
They're painting something.
Well...
Something's being painted.
It's something major, otherwise it wouldn't be on my news. They're always refreshing something, aren't they? They're always painting Alice's Curious Labyrinth. There's a big one that's been announced this week.
So
Big. It's big.
It's not a play on words, and it's not like we're getting a new refreshments machine.
No.
No, it's Sequoia Lodge.
It is.
Sequoia Lodge is going to shut for a full refurb at some point. No dates yet given.
Well, the details that we do have, no dates given, you're absolutely right. It says this will be after the Disneyland Hotel reopens. So what day is that, like the 29th of January or something? Around there.
Yeah.
So it's at some point after that. Now, the thing is, there's 1,000 rooms. There's two restaurants, shop, pool. And it's like 47,000 square feet or something. When they did Newport Bay several years ago, they kept it open and they did one arm at a time, if you can imagine the shape of it, and they kind of closed it in bits and phases. Apparently, it was a nightmare, people who were there. And then when they did Hotel New York, which obviously was a different level of retheme, but they just shut the whole thing. And then, of course, they've shut the whole thing with Disneyland Hotel. I would wonder what they're planning on doing with Sequoia, given that there's 3 lodges which they could refurb really quite easily.
Yeah, true.
Couldn't they?
And also, it's not like, oh, great, well, we've got the Disneyland Hotel open now, so that's a fair trade-off for cost-wise for all those people who've booked in Sequoia Lodge. It's not going to work like that. And also, there's a tiny little sporting event taking place in France, in Paris next year, that I think they might not want to have lots of closures during. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. We've obviously booked, and quite a few people have said on the Facebook page that they have booked or are planning on booking Sequoia Lodge. So I guess we'll see what happens when Sequoia shut, because it didn't it? At some point during the COVID situation.
It was the last one to reopen, yeah.
It shut, and our booking was moved to Newport Bay. And it was just a cost for cost, like for like shift basically, but whether they'll do the same with people if there's a need to or not. I think you're right though, because those lodges sit separate, there's every chance they'll just do them separately. It depends whether they're going for complete retheming and doing something brand new like they've done with the last 2 refurbs, or whether they're just planning on sprucing it,
swapping out the pillows.
When is booking currently open till? It's open till...
Well, I've booked an event. I've booked in October next year, haven't I? So,
and I think it's open till early 2025 at the moment.
It'll be up to March
April
or whatever,
usually. Yeah, it's up to Easter ish, usually. So they've got more than a year in advance, and given what they've announced now, I think there's 100% chance they will have started by then, if not literally in February or March.
Yeah.
So this is my suspicion. I know nothing, guys, but this is my suspicion. They will do the lodges first and do no rebookings. And then they will do an arm of the hotel and no rebookings. And then they'll have to finish with all the common areas and they'll have to shut for a period of time. Am I wrong?
I don't know.
Will they manage to keep it open, like just refurbing Hunter's Grill but keeping the other one open? And
I don't know, because the other thing I guess is that people book specific types of accommodation there, because there's lakeside views, there's the lodges, there's the Golden Forest, so they're going to have to move people about a bit, even if they keep it open, I would think. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. Who knows, eh?
It's very interesting, but there'll be a big price problem if even a significant amount of it is shut, because that is your mid-range hotel, and if it goes straight from Santa Fe to Newport Bay, you're just going to cut out.
I don't think it will. I honestly, certainly for the majority, I would think that they'll go Cheyenne, because it is exactly the same price at the moment.
Is it?
Yeah, there's virtually no difference in the cost for standard rooms in Sequoia as there are in Cheyenne. When I was looking a couple of weeks ago.
I think that's down to how run down Cheyenne is. Santa Fe is. Sequoia is. But thing is, yeah, the rooms needed a refresh when we were there, but we still loved it. We've stayed in hotel. When you stayed in Newport Bay, you were like, these rooms need doing.
Oh yeah,
and
and they were the most recently done at the time, I think, weren't they?
I didn't really feel like that about Sequoia. I could recognise they were a bit dated.
Yeah,
but it didn't feel like, oh gosh, this needs doing. And people on here still rave about how much they love it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, let's wait and see. It's been done by an architectural firm called Wilden. If you're interested.
Wow. There
we
are.
You go.
What are they famous for?
I have no idea. Shall I look it up?
No, don't.
Okay.
Can we have a drink?
Yeah.
Yay.
Ole, it's showtime! All together. Your tiki 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 cup in your tiki 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 cup. Well, you made yourself a band and shall drink it up from your tiki 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 cup.
I don't know why I did that.
We're drinking blood in our tiki cups today. Blood. Tastes a bit like Tesco own brand blackcurrant cordial.
It does taste blackcurranty. You were brought down with the coronavirus the other week.
Yes.
And I had this suspicion that maybe I'd had it at some point around that time as well.
Yes.
And that I think that might be why I wasn't there the week before. But I don't know who it was, but I just got this feeling.
I think it was too.
But since a week before last, since about 10 days now, I would say, I've had this tickly cough that comes on a night, and I just cannot get rid of it.
No.
And it's just started again now.
Oh, no, okay.
So I apologise to everyone if I keep coughing. I'm not contagious or anything. It's just this thing that keeps happening on a night. Fed up with it. Fed up. So is Laura, because it's keeping her awake.
I've had one of those a few months ago. Just at night, and you think, oh, no, it's a cough. I've got a cough. And then the next day, it's gone.
Yeah, nothing.
Completely gone. And then it comes back at night.
Yeah,
Very
it can just
strange.
tickle and suffocate a bit.
So I went to see a concert in Nottingham. When I say a concert, I don't mean like a band. I went to see an orchestra. I went to see the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra playing Rachmaninoff and Tchaikovsky. And
All right, wait to let us know you're middle class.
I know.
Thank you.
In the middle of the Tchaikovsky Piano Concerto No. 2, at a very quiet bit of piano solo, my tickliness came back, and I spent 5 minutes going with tears dripping down my eyes, trying not to break the ambience.
At least you tried. Unlike that time we went to the ballet, and it was like, I think I've complained about this before, it's like someone coughing reminded the other people that they had a cough. And there was just this segment in the middle of the show where there was a coughing rally between two sides of the theatre, like a call and response of people going, "Oh yeah, me too." "Oh well, I still got mine and I did mine first." "Yeah, well I've got one as well and it's just as important as yours."
Is
it
like a pantomime when they sing Peter Piper had pickled peppers?
That's like every GCSE exam I've ever been in as well. Is that, it's all silent and one kid starts coughing.
Our headmistress in assembly when we were at junior school once said, "Please stop coughing," and then everyone coughed. Because that's what kids, if you say to a room full of kids, don't cough. They don't do it to be silly.
Don't put jam on the cat.
It just makes them think of coughing, and then they cough, and it's almost like a kind of like, but it's a cough. You can't tell me off for that. And then everyone just starts going, "Oh, do you know what?" I remember, like, even at that age of about like 8, just looking around and thinking, You are all pathetic.
Oh my God. That's where it began.
On
that
that
was
note-
like the origin of Hugh.
On that note, can we stop talking about coughing? Because it's making me try to stop myself from coughing constantly.
Yeah.
Right.
What are we here to do? We
Another
said we were
bit-
going to talk politics today, didn't we?
Oh God, no. Another piece of news, please no.
Hello to Let's High Five and Chris.
Hello. Andrew Palmer says, what will the price be on reopening for Sequoia?
That's it. It'll have gone up 20%, I can guarantee. In fact, I'd like to make a note of what it is now. You'll probably know. So that when it's revealed in 2025 that it's £800 a night, we can calculate the increase. Right. Ain't no party like an AP party. This isn't that cryptic, really.
Because an AP party don't stop.
I'm guessing there's another AP party been announced.
There is. What do you
Wow.
think the theme is?
Christmas.
There is. It is. You are correct.
Ooh, surprise.
It's 2 for 2 over here, Huey. You need to up your game.
Oh, this is like when we used to do Quizney Street and I blitzed off ahead and then just stopped getting answers right until you took over and won.
Kept it thrilling, though, to the end, didn't it?
Oh, we have to do that again at some point. I love doing
I
that.
did like Quizney Street.
Me too, because I could turn up and not have anything planned and just play a quiz.
Whereas Lucy used to have to spend the whole fortnight pulling
Yeah.
questions together.
I did. Right, so it's called Christmas Night, and it is on the 30th of November, which isn't far away in the scheme of things.
It's
You know,
almost Christmas.
If we keep saying when they rehashed these APs, who they were aiming at is they wanted to stop just the UK visitors kind of getting it as a way of getting cheap holidays. Well, if you're a UK visitor and it's just been announced that there's an AP party on the 30th of November, you're going to struggle to get the time off work and, book flights and things, aren't you? So, sadness. I suppose people in the southeast might find it easier. I'll stop being bitter now. It goes on sale on the 6th of November. Tickets are €55 and it's one AP holder can bring 2 guests.
That's a week tomorrow.
This time.
Incidentally.
Yeah, so one AP holder can bring 2 guests this time. It used to be just one. I wonder if that means that there were actually spare tickets to the Halloween one or not. Or
Well, it sounded like it was pretty busy from the reviews and that.
just to be clear, those 2 guests will also have to pay €55. It's not that €55 will pay
Gets
for
you
3
in
of you.
3 people, yeah.
There will be
Of course not.
an enchanted opening ceremony. There will be Beauty and the Beast Tale as Old as Time. I presume that's a show. It was just put as a bullet point on its own. Mickey's Dazzling Christmas Parade on stage. So,
Is it a parade if it's on stage? Can it be both a parade and on stage?
well, this is what I think this is.
Parade.
Parade.
This is what I think this is. Mickey's Dazzling Christmas Parade is the regular one with the gingerbread Mickeys and the
Okay.
soldiers and things, isn't it? I think that they will just use those unique costumes and probably a few bits of float to do a hub show. That's what I think.
That seems likely, yeah.
So they can't say, oh, this is a brand new show, because everyone will go, hang on, those are the parade costumes. So that's what I think is going to happen. Bearing in mind this is for one night only, and €55 is a bargain, and it's for AP holders. So that's what I think is going to happen. Mickey's Winter Wonderland, magical memories. Not magical memories. I don't know how magical the memories you have of your colon are.
I've got a few of those.
Haven't we all?
So yeah, this sounds like it might be a bit of a decorated area.
Okay.
Mickey's Winter Wonderland Magical Memories. Bearing in mind they don't tell us anything at this stage. They just kind of give you a programme and leave you to guess.
Decorated area sounds like a vajazzle.
Oh, Huey.
Carry on.
Moving
Moving on.
Enchanted Christmas Ball finale. And there will be 50 characters, over 50 characters, some of them very rare, roaming the park. But as with the Halloween party, there will be no official meet and greets. You can do selfies and you can interact, but there will not be queues and there will not be meet and greets. And I think that's the way to go. And from people who were at the last AP party, it sounds like that was a popular way to go. Because I know that many other hard ticketers parties, people pay €100+ and go for a 4-hour party and spend 3 of it stood in line to meet, the bowler hat guy from Meet the Robinsons.
So to summarise then,
Bowler hat guy.
I only mention him, sorry, because we did run Disney and there was Yzma and Kronk meeting and there was a really long line and then they swapped out for bowler hat guy and half the line just went,
No.
oh no, never mind.
who's that?
Just left.
Who's that guy?
I know.
I like Bowler Hat Guy. He reminds me of something. I don't know what it is, but he reminds me of something, and I quite like him. So in summary, then it's balls, colons, vajazzles.
Oh my God.
That's what I heard from
No,
Ola.
I said none of that. You weren't listening.
That should be the thumbnail when we make it.
Balls, colons, vajazzles.
Just 3 headers.
Okay, but you're finding the images for that.
Does bowler
I
hat
don't want that on my search history.
Does bowler hat guy remind you of maybe John Cleese?
Maybe a little bit, but it isn't that. I think it feels like a character, and I couldn't tell you what, from the computer game of what's the one with Rincewind? The Terry Pratchett books. Discworld. Mm-hmm. There's something Discworldy about him. I think that's what it is. But I couldn't tell you what particular character I'm thinking of. I don't think there is a particular character I'm thinking of. It just feels like that.
Yeah. Mercedes agrees with you. She was going to say Basil Fawlty.
Ah, there you go. Okay, yeah, I get that. I do get that.
Yeah, that big stubbly chin.
I think also maybe it's because Meet the Robinsons plays around with time, doesn't it? And stuff happening now and stuff happening later and everything. And the Discworld game does a bit of that, moving backwards and forwards in time. I might be thinking of Day of the Tentacle.
Okay.
I must say, I'm just bringing you back to Disney for a second now.
Ah.
When they released these new annual passes and what they were going to do with it, I was very sceptical and scathing, mainly because I was bitter and twisted about the fact that we weren't going to be able to afford them. But these AP parties are giving me serious FOMO. And it is, I'm beginning to see now what a selling point it is, particularly if you live within a 2-hour radius.
I agree. And the last one did look really good. Looks like it was a good time was had by all, in spite of how busy it was. So we are missing out. We're missing out.
We are. Your final piece of cryptic clue. This is quite cryptic. Breaking the set.
Breaking the set. So taking something down.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like.
Getting rid of something. Is it the stunt show area?
Nope, but you're in the right park.
It's they're taking. Oh, I know. Studio 1 is about to shut completely.
Yes.
And that. So I'm guessing they're going to completely redo that.
Yep, so it's Studio 1 and all the facilities it contains, I'm going to talk about that in a second, will be closing between April 2024 and spring 2025. Let's say it's going to be exactly a year then, although spring is a bit of a wishy-washy term in Disney terms, isn't it? So they're going to close Studio 1. Now, the implications of this are twofold. First of all, there is a way of bypassing Studio 1 because when they're trying to get you out quickly after fireworks shows, they just open the side. But it is extremely undramatic. Mm-hmm. It is an alleyway. It's quite a wide alleyway, but it's like, if that's going to be people's first entrance to the park that now has got Avengers Campus, it's a bit of a shame. I'd be interested to see if they do anything with it.
They should make it like the Backstreet Alley in
Oliver and Co.
well, yeah, maybe. No, I was going to say Who Framed Roger Rabbit when he's watching them playing patty cake through the window. That alley there where the great big gorilla throws them out.
Yeah,
that'd be quite fun.
Just make it like that.
Yeah, they could. Yeah,
Yes.
I hope they do something more dramatic than what they've got with it now. More impressive, should I say?
They should make a giant space worm like in Empire Strikes Back, and you're inside it, and you emerge into the park out of its gob.
Yes.
But the other implication is it holds, I mean, now we've got Stark Factory back open again, but for a long time, Restaurant de Coulisses in Studio One was like the only proper quick service in that park, and it's massive and it's popular. Yes, we've got Stark Factory now, but then that puts a lot of stress on Stark Factory, given that that's in a very popular area of the park. It's just more reasons for people who aren't necessarily going for Avengers to go down that side of the park and clog it up a bit. So you've got, you're losing that. You're losing 2 big toilets, not individual, not just massive toilets, toilet blocks. So it's like one of the main and there's not many water fountains in that park that I find. I always go to the water fountain that's in there. Massive shop, and in that shop you've got the Pandora shop. That's not major, but also you've got a desk for the photo pass in there. So that's all. Now that's not too big a deal because you've also got the big shops on the courtyard, and you have what used to be the I don't know, the higher push chairs and stuff like that. So a lot of that can be taken up there, but it's such a hub. And I'm going to say this as well. I've always liked Studio One. Now, I know some Disneyland Paris fans who hate it. They absolutely hate it. They go, is that it? Is that the best you could do? This is our entrance to the park. I like it.
It's fun. I think the biggest shame is if Cafe closes, because that's often early the only place you can go and grab like a little tasty breakfast treat.
Yeah.
When all the carts are shut, and you're like, you can always count on Hepcat to have something.
I feel pretty smug right now though, because I booked my restaurants for next Halloween last week, and I've already booked Pim Kitchen, which is good because if we hadn't, we might have struggled to get in there, because I imagine places that are bookable are going to get taken up pretty quick in the studios now, because we're losing a bunch of eateries.
Yeah. Well, it's one massive one and then one really good, reliable snack location. But it eats a lot of people. But, I mean, my thing is I don't see why it so desperately needs refurbishment. I don't remember it looking tired or dull, and I really like the theme. I think it might have had criticism for its very Eisner era cheapness, because he's famous for kind of commenting that the reason he liked doing these studio themed parks is that you could have painted flats propped up with scaffolding and you could call it theming, but of course it's just dead cheap to do, isn't it? So it has been criticised for that, but I like that. I like that you go behind the back of a palm tree and it's all cardboard. I do.
Yeah, there's a bit of tiki in there as well, isn't there? But it's so brief. You could easily miss it. There's just some tiki decorations at one end of that quick service eating area, isn't there?
What do you think they'll do with it?
That was going to be my next question. People of the chat, what do you think they will do with Studio One? What do you want them to do with Studio One? Does this affect you? Are you going between that? You are. It affects you.
Why?
Because you're going.
Because it'll be shut when we're there.
It'll be shut. Yeah.
I mean, in all honesty, we never have spent a lot of time in Studio One. We have been into the shop and we have used the toilets, but that is about it. We walk through it, and I do like it. I find it quite atmospheric. It's a nice break from the sun when it's really hot, and it's a nice break from the freezing cold temperatures when it's cold. So it does have its benefits, but I don't think it's not a destination zone for me. It's not like we're going to the studios. I'm going to go and spend time in Studio One.
I don't know. I think we have lingered in there a bit. They sometimes have like a 3-piece jazz band in there. They do at Christmas. They've got face painting in there. There are reasons to be in there.
Yeah, but it's not like you step out into Main Street and you go, "Oh, I'm back."
No,
you're not going to do that. In
well,
Studio One,
that was my first experience of Disney, was to walk into Studio One and go, "Oh, well, I mean, this is kind of all right," and then walk out of it the other end and go, "Oh, look, there's loads of flats held up by scaffolding. I see what Laura was talking about when she said how wonderful this place is."
Let's High Five has just said, when is the studio closing and any indication for how long? It's only Studio One. I don't want anyone to misinterpret it that the studios are closing. It's just one building within the studios park, and it is from April 24 to spring 25. So for a full year. So
I assume that they're doing this in preparation for Frozen Land opening, which might give us some hints as to when that's all going to happen as well.
That's true. And it's not just... That might... I'm trying to think what they would do and why. I think they might give the end a big picture window situation. so that when you walk in, you can see right down this new boulevard.
You think?
You know what I mean?
To the weenie. John says, think I heard somewhere it's going to be themed to a Hollywood garden party. Doesn't seem the most obvious choice. And Emma says it has lots of rigging, so hopefully it's more about safety checks and a touch-up rather than a theme.
A retheme.
It does feel like it needs something different though, because like you say, as soon as you go into the courtyard or whatever you want to call it at the other end, it's still a very confused place, isn't it?
Do you know what? It is the whole thing's odd because your first bit is that courtyard, which is nice. You know, with the Eiffel Tower and all that. Yeah. It's a nice area. Then you go into this building, which is kind of like Hollywood nightlife type of thing, and then you go into a third area, which feels like that's the proper entrance, where you see the the statue and Tower of Terror to your left. So it's just all very disjointed, isn't it?
There's not a lot of the studio feel of the whole place left now, though, is there?
No.
And it does make you wonder whether that's on
rename.
borrowed time a little bit.
Rename.
Well,
yeah, because it was meant to be all like props and working equipment and stuff, and it was meant to be a working studio, which it never really was.
Mercedes says, I assume whatever they're doing will have a load of IP.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's likely.
It'll be Pixar to death.
I think minimum we can predict is that they'll keep the theme as it is, they'll keep the structure as it is, and they'll stick a load of the new Mickey shorts characters and stuff like that on it. Now I've said it out loud, I would be in favour of them opening up the entrance, glazing the arch more. I think that would be quite visual.
You know, it doesn't get enough representation in the parks.
Black Cauldron.
Yeah.
Pixar's dinosaur. I imagine that's what they're going to go for.
Oh, man.
that wasn't Pixar, was it Dinosaur?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No, it wasn't.
Not dinosaur. Sorry, the other.
The good dinosaur.
The good dinosaur.
The good
yes,
dinosaur.
The good dinosaur.
Oh, God, which is worse?
The good dinosaur's worse.
They're very similar, though,
film.
aren't they?
Yeah, I think
If you think
I think the
about-
good dinosaur is worse, if you can believe that.
It's an absolute mess of a film. We haven't done the Pixar films though. I was going to say we never reviewed that.
Katie says, whatever retheming they go for, I hope they go all out with it rather than something bland. I think that's fair to say. And the problem is...
So not the good dinosaur then.
Like Let's High Five just said that, 1 year is quite long for a refurb. It is, but it's quite short for a total refit.
Yes, that's true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's right in the middle of a time frame. If it was a lick of paint, that is too long. But if it also doesn't seem if it's going to be any kind of rebuild. So I don't know. I can't imagine.
I don't know because let's be honest, the whole idea of that as a place is you can strip off all the fascias of everything and you've got a bare room to start with. So I don't think it'd take a massive amount of effort to completely rehash it.
That's true.
Adam says, we enjoyed seeing Mickey and Minnie on the balcony in Studio 1 in extra magic hours in the morning.
Yeah, we
Don't
do.
think- have we seen them in there?
Oh, yeah, loads of
Have we?
times. Every
Oh,
time we go.
okay.
And also,
And,
Bonnie likes jumping on the stars.
Yeah, she does. Mercedes says, Thorpe Park has a similar entrance for anyone that's been, and then a picture of a skull.
So does Gulliver's Valley. I don't want to insult Disney by saying it's similar, but it's certainly
Yeah, you go into
like a warehouse style.
With a ball pool and
Yeah.
some indoor houses or something to climb around.
Yeah.
depressing, isn't it?
But yeah, any refurb, it's basically shop fitting, isn't it? It's not. There's nothing to build. There's no building taking place. It's
That's
shop
true. And what there is in there actually assists with any kind of retheme. You know, there's a lot of like scaffolding style fittings that you can just hang stuff off. So yeah, maybe it could be quite a quick total retheme. Maybe a year is appropriate.
Hey.
And you're right. They're going to be racing against the other refit going on in the studio. Sorry, Huey.
It's all going on. Anyway, no, I was going to say, hey, Emma M says, hello, first time joining live. Love the show. Looking forward to my first trip as an adult in January. And then Emma S says, I love the darkness and the impact of the lights. I'd love to see more tiki, though. Wouldn't we all?
Yeah. You could just make it into a massive tiki
Just
room.
all tiki.
When we've gone there, here's the other thing we haven't mentioned, with it being closed for a full year, which means in all 4 seasons it will be shut. When we have been, when it has tipped 36 degrees, it is a godsend to go in there to the air conditioning, and it is big enough where you can just kind of loll around, as opposed to, you know, a little shop that you're in and out of in 5 minutes. And when it's freezing cold and weeing it down in December, we have also gone in there for our dinner, or for a shop, or for a stand. So that's the reason they have these kind of places here that they don't have them in California or Florida, is because we've got Parisian weather. You take that away, you take shelter away.
But they could. I mean, they won't do in the time they've got, but they could do something that's much more open and lighter that actually complements what that courtyard is and takes you through to what that other bit, whatever you would call it, is. That could work quite nicely and actually be open, but covered.
Yeah,
that's something that they could do. A bit like is it in Japan where they've got it's all open, isn't it? But it's covered.
Yeah, more like a tunnel than a shed.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Turn it into a tunnel instead of a shed. I am down with that.
A carport.
But keep the tiki, baby. Keep the tiki. What if they were turning it into a massive version of the tiki room?
Oh, Mercedes says, "Ooh, something like they have in Tokyo, Chris." Yes, just that. That's what I was trying to say. I just couldn't get the words out.
Right, that, my friends, is all she wrote.
Goodness me.
So, shall I pass over to my friends for the trip reports?
Yeah. Well, shall I start off by having a quick look at what's been said on the group today?
Yeah.
Because I did ask everybody.
Well, we had a good question on there from someone, if you recall. Which was someone said, has anyone ever had anyone meet them in the parks and cheekily let them stay in their room for the night? Now, a lot of people read that in the same way, which was, has anyone ever met anyone in the parks? But what they mean is,
like for a hookup,
have someone, come and meet them in the park like a friend, and then you've gone like, you can just crash in my room. Is it allowed? Probably not in that sense, is it? But jokes aside of us saying like, what do you mean? Well, actually, no, let's ask that as well. Has anyone ever like met anyone in the park and been like, hey, baby, you want to come back to the Cheyenne? I'll show you a good time.
I've got a cowboy boot lamp.
I was going to say something about Woody, but I'm going to avoid that.
Oh, Christopher.
Did you know what? There's loads of things like Trude says, don't tell anyone, but in the 1990s, me, my parents and sister went to the park several times. One time we brought along my boyfriend at the time. Us teenagers shared one double bed, and I remember we had to be sneaky when going to the hotel breakfast, since we only had one breakfast voucher. Only had breakfast vouchers for 4 people, but didn't encounter any problems. But
there's been some people talk about recently. In fact, we've even spoken about it on the show about annual pass holders who are going with other people, and they book the hotel, and then as an annual pass holder, you can turn up and go to the hotel and talk to them and say, I'm going to stay in that room with them. And as long as they've got a room that's got the capacity, they'll allow you to just pay a supplement, and you can do that. So there's a precedent for allowing it that probably doesn't cost the earth.
Charlotte did say, I think I've heard you can add people on your onto your hotel room, and then only have to pay the tourism tax for them. But then she says, not 100% sure though.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
Ross says, who's got the time or the energy to hook up in Disney?
I don't know, if you gone to Disney to get your buzz on and you were single and there was someone else there who was of the same mind, you never know.
Be a crazy, wild, fun time, wouldn't it?
Star-crossed lovers on a single rider for Flight Force, sat next to each other. And the stars aligned, if you will. Who knows?
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. Now, in my usual thing, I posted today, actually, and not on Friday like I usually do, to ask you if you got anything to talk to us about. I also put in a quick reminder that we're back onto GMT now and not BST. So for those of you stateside, we're coming at you an hour later than we normally would do. So here's some of the things that people have said. Jay Murphy says, curious to hear thoughts on the Sequoia renovation and its possible impact on bookings, and other people have said, me too. Now, I think we've talked about that now, so we probably don't need to go into more detail.
Done.
Sarah Clipston says, what's everyone's thoughts on Loungefly? Do you get Loungefly envy? Are they worth the money? They certainly seem to keep their price if you look on Vinted, etc. If you love Loungefly, which bag do you covet the most? And I'll just read the other bits of this, and then you can chip in. How does that sound?
Well, I have many thoughts on
I know you do. I know.
I do as well. I genuinely do.
Andrew Palmer says, our bags get nice comments every time we're out and about. Yesterday, it was at Morrison's. And Sarah said, I have Miss Marvel, and it's a small one, and I love them both and could get into buying more. It's a slippery slope to collecting. And Hannah Piazza, who has her own jingle, but I don't have it at the moment, says, be careful where you buy them from, though. A lot of the ones on Vinted are fakes from AliExpress, so there's a bit of talk about just be careful if you're going to buy them not from source, because there's chances that people are selling them at inflated prices and they are fake.
I bought one from somewhere like that, and it was one. Was it the Pinocchio one that you really wanted?
The Bambi one. Oh.
I think it was the Pinocchio one that I couldn't get anywhere, but I found it on there, and I was like,
that's authentic.
And it's cheaper.
And,
I've got that. I've got one of those.
The screen. Okay, here we go. There we go.
I think you have to put it further back.
Put it a bit further back. There you go. Darren Dunn posted a picture of their Loungefly collection. Which
you've got the Encanto one.
I've got the Encanto
It's
one.
plentiful, isn't it? So there we go. Go on, tell us about your views on this.
Oh no, the Pinocchio one I got from America. I got you one off there.
Here's the thing. I'll quickly tell mine, but then I think Hugh often buys me Loungeflies as a gift, so he's got thoughts as well. I have got 5 rucksack Loungeflies and then 2 different style, like a clutch bag and a shoulder bag that are also branded Loungeflies. But I think the rucksack's the most traditional. I love my 5 Loungeflies. However, I don't universally like them particularly anymore. Now there's so many of them, and sometimes the way that they characterize them and the way they put the faces on them, they do look like kids' toy rucksacks, which was never really what I was going for with it. So I'm quite fussy with them, but every so often I see ones that I just love and I want. I do like the ones that are just a sparkle colour with the ears. I don't have any of those, but I do like those. But now that it's coming out for every film, there's so many, and you can go into like these emo shops in Leeds, and they've just got full walls of them. They don't feel special or bespoke at all. They start to feel a bit like a toy, which has changed my relationship with them.
It's the Funko Pop of the bag world.
It is. Yeah. It is. That is exactly what it is. However, when I like them, I really like them, because there are some that are gorgeous. I just don't universally like them. Yeah. And I will say they are excellent quality, given that I have ragged mine around a load and they all still look brand new. I could still sell them all as perfect quality kind of thing. And the perfect sized park bag. That's the other thing I'll say.
Pauline's got a Bambi one. I read that's Barbie.
Barbie?
Yeah, Barbie one would be nice. Do you know what? Personally, for me personally, and I know a lot of people in the chat or listening or watching will have these, so I'm sorry, but I'm not into the ones that are just patterned. But then at the same time,
printed.
Yeah, but at the same time, some of the character ones are too full out. I like an in between, like your Encanto one. It's like it's novel, but it's not it's not bits sticking out all over the place. I like that Bambi one I got you, and I think it was an exclusive for one of those websites that just sells like Christmas jumpers and Ghostbusters T-shirts and stuff. You know, like what's it called? Geek something? No, I can't remember.
Oh yeah,
one of those. There's one called Truffle Shuffle, is there? And then there's another one. Anyway, one of those kind of websites. I got one that was an exclusive, but that was there. But I like them. I wish I could have one. Do you know what? When you say that, people go, well, especially in this day and age, you can do what you want. Honestly, round here, I can't. I genuinely can't. You know, because I'd love to say, you're like, yeah, I do what I want. You know, I'm just being me. I'm gonna get abuse. I can't be bothered. No, I won't.
Moving on then.
Just going.
I'm just checking on the baby because she hasn't.
So Stacey Warner says, I'm on my way back from a trip to Blackpool and Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Not getting the post-trip blues too badly, though, because it's just 10 days till I go until my first ever Disney trip. Sarah Clipston then says, have an amazing trip. You'll be planning a repeat trip before you get home. To which Stacey said, I've already done a few draft plans for getting to Orlando someday as well.
Oh, nice.
And then
Sunday, not Sunday.
Sunday,
Yeah,
on Sunday.
That was quick.
And then Jenny Weir says, I would like to hear, and I quite like this, people's favourite buffet restaurants, any tips for special Christmassy experiences. They're there from the 23rd to the 26th of December. Woo! What is this Disney trading card game all about? Lorcana, is it any good? Thank you. I'll be listening live tonight, says Jenny. Buffet restaurants then, first off.
Hi, Jenny.
Pim Kitchen,
I've done all the buffet restaurants except for...
Agrabah, because you want to do it with Hugh.
No, I've done Agrabah.
Have you done it?
Apart from the one at Davy Crockett. That's the only one I haven't done.
Oh, okay.
I've done all the other buffets.
We've been there.
We've done all the ones in the parks and the village, and we've done Cheyenne and Sequoia buffets, but we haven't done Newport Bay or Newport Bay or the Marvel Hotel. I've done Santa Fe, but you haven't. Buffet.
Don't rub it in.
My favourite's Pim Kitchen.
You
You both did the same thing then. Favourite buffet restaurant?
We've done Pim Kitchen twice, and like I think I get it there, but like there's just something about Agrabah.
Yeah, Agrabah's a bit different because you've got like Plaza Gardens is pretty stock. This stuff everybody will like there, but personally, I don't think it's anything special. It's great if you're going for a character meet, it's good, but for me, it's nothing special. And what you used to get at Inventions was very, very similar food-wise, I think. Hunter's Grill's pretty good if you like that kind of like chicken and that sort of stuff. And then that's the same with the Chuck Wagon as well. That's all right and probably more kid-friendly. If you want a kid-friendly place, Santa Fe is probably the one to go for, though, out of all of them. Downtown's really cool because they've got a lot of different types of
We haven't done
American,
that. We haven't done that one.
like what internationally American foods like pizza and Japanese and stuff, but all very American versions of it. But and I like Pim Kitchen because it's a bit quirky and it's a bit different. But
It does have blue custard.
yeah,
Oh yeah.
and I liked it when it was Restaurant de Stars as well. It was nice there,
Yeah.
but. I agree with you. I think Agrabah is great because it has a theme, and because of that theme, it gives it something a little bit different. You wouldn't go there if you want chips and chicken nuggets, because
Which is why we don't anymore.
Yeah.
I have.
Unfortunately.
I'm gonna just fly a very small flag, the kind of flag you get in a child's sand bucket kit for Lagrange at Billy Bob's. This was the first.
I like it there as well. Yeah.
First restaurant we went to. Well, some of you know that I went as a teenager a couple of times. Me and Hugh went in our early 20s, and then we had like a 10-year break, maybe 12, 15-year break. Can't think right now. Before we went back again.
A 16-year break.
Wow, was it?
Maybe 15.
And then we went, then when we finally went back in 2017, that was the first restaurant we went in before we'd even been in the park. And I was just so chuffed to be there, like chuffed. I just remember feeling deliriously happy at that meal, and every single thing I ate was like the most delicious thing I'd ever eaten.
Because they gave us a seat with a rubbish view, and Lucy said, "This is lovely, thank you."
Magical.
And I thought, no, it isn't. You can see on top of like a big container unit.
Yeah, I like the food there, but you go in and like the downstairs bit, I was like, oh, this is really nicely done. And then they took us upstairs to this like
Dining hall.
yeah, and that so in terms of atmosphere, I didn't think it was great, but the food was really good. I did really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think the thing about Agrabah as well is the general theming of it as a restaurant. It feels it's got that bizarre kind of.
I'm worried now
feel to
because
it.
Mercedes is going for the first time in February. Thanks for validating our choice, but maybe we've oversold it. I'm worried now.
The thing is, with Agrabah, I loved the atmosphere. I loved the styling. And it's one of those things where it's lots of small rooms.
Yeah.
So you feel like you're in a really small restaurant when you're probably in a massive restaurant. You feel there's only you and only 4 other tables. But I really struggled to feed myself there. It's that simple. I am not that fussy and eater, however, I have two big things. I'm allergic to tomato and I don't like any kind of heat. And it was Moroccan food, and it was either tomato sauce based stuff. Well, you know, what do you call it? Like the big
Like tagines,
moussaka
like-
type. Yeah,
yeah,
tagines
yeah,
and that kind
moussaka.
of thing that had tomato in it. Or it was really hot. And it just wasn't for me. And I actually really want to go back. But to pay buffet prices for me and Bonnie to pick at the corner of some pastry is a bit daft.
Now, I know I'm a spice lord, but I don't remember any of it being particularly spicy.
No.
There was couscous type dishes and there was hummus.
I don't remember any heat.
But it's all flatbreads and salads and really nice, healthy, tasty food. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Maybe we'll give it another go.
I bet we don't.
We will, though, Hugh.
Yeah,
Next
you
time-
need
that
you
day
two
that
to
we
Next
go.
time we
there.
go with another family, we'll have a
We'll
bro
separate out.
Yeah.
Or maybe
date,
I should
Chris.
just suck it up and just like for science and get something of every dish and tell you whether it's spicy or not and whether a fussy eater can eat there. But I don't think it's that I'm fussy. I think it's that I have very particular constraints.
Speaking of spicy, I've bought a bottle of Da Bomb for Hugh and I to try at some point.
Yeah. From if you watch Hot Ones, that's like the one that like stops everyone in their tracks. And now, Chris, tell us what happened when you
Oh, so I took it out of the bottle, and I was kind of looking at it, and thinking, this is really
out of the box.
Out of the box, sorry, and had a bit of a look at it, and then put it down, and then I must have just gone to just done that.
Chris
And,
puts his finger in his mouth.
and
listeners.
then my mouth was on fire for the
Now,
next
he hadn't
30 minutes.
opened the
I
bottle.
hadn't opened the bottle.
He touched the bottle from the outside.
So what seems likely is that another bottle somewhere at some point had gone kaput and it had left traces on the outside of that one because it's still sealed shut. It's not. There's no way of getting into it.
It's probably just all kicking around when they like fill each bottle. Like just you get splatters on it.
possibly.
And, yeah.
But just before that, I'd scratched my eye, but luckily I'd done it with a different finger because I think that could have been pretty nasty.
Yeah.
But my mouth like lit up. It was very pleasant lighting up, but it was quite spicy to say that I hadn't actually even opened the bottle.
Hugh grows his own chilies.
Naga chilies, viper chilies.
And he was dicing some up or whatever he does with them to put them in the fridge, and I don't know what his process is. But there was I was saying how I would never eat them, and you must be bonkers, and that's too hot. And there was a bit left on the knife. Now this wasn't even a bit that had been deliberately chopped up. It was like a sliver that was left on the knife. And he went, "Just eat that, I dare you." And it wasn't even a piece. And then I did, and I made noises like a cow afterwards. I was like going, "Ah, ah." It was just everything flamed up, everything down here. I felt like down there was
Lucy
hot and
points
swollen.
at the base of her neck. Listeners.
You should do audio descriptions.
Yes, I should.
He nods with approval.
Anyway, the truth is that anything Disney does that is spicy won't be spicy in the way that heat lovers think, but I am just extremely vulnerable to it. Right.
Do you know what we've done? We've got to 10 minutes left of the show.
Do it.
7 minutes left
Trip
of the show. And
report.
got through none of the 4 trip reports.
Trip report, come on.
I'm going to start at the bottom of my list. So this is the furthest one away sent or something. From the 18th of October. I don't know the distance it's travelled. I'll be honest. That's not what I meant. Here we go. Let me just have a look. Yeah, that's okay. I was just checking the word count very quickly just to see whether it was within or not. So this is from Nikki Pike. And it says Disneyland Paris trip report, October 14th to the 17th, 2023. 6 adults and 1 3.5-year-old. We flew out via EasyJet from Luton to Paris Charles de Gaulle. We were happy with the flight and didn't have any problems or delays in either direction. The majority of our party stayed in the Explorers Hotel, and I can thoroughly recommend it as a family-friendly place to stay with lots of exciting activities. We had to convince our 3-year-old that it was worth leaving the hotel to visit Disneyland. It was her first trip, so she didn't understand the magic that awaited him. So he didn't understand the magic that awaited him. Our first day was relatively quiet, managing to go before most UK schools started their October half terms. Our 3-year-old was tall enough to go on almost all of the rides, not that we would have risked taking him on Tower of Terror. He absolutely loved It's a Small World, and the queue remained at 5 to 10 minutes during our entire stay. His favourite ride was Buzz Lightyear. Queues fluctuated between 10 to 50 minutes, so I would recommend getting there early for a short queue. This was the only ride we paid for Premier Access pass to go on, to allow our son one last ride on our final day. A tip for people entering the park with strollers: when you scan your ticket to enter the park, make sure you scan your ticket and your child's, as on the last day I forgot to scan my own, going through as I pushed the stroller, and was not recorded as in the park that day. This meant I was unable to book any Premier passes for myself.
Oh.
There you go. This could have been sorted out with a trip to City Hall, but would have been additional queuing and a hassle to sort. Couldn't they have gone out and back in again?
I would have thought so.
But still, it's worth knowing anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, because if you've never been and you're thinking, how can that happen? Humans go through a turnstile, but when you have a pushchair with you, they open a little gate, like manually open the gate. And if you're pushing the pushchair, you just walk through the gate. So
they usually help you though, don't they? They'll take the passes and scan them for you and give them back. Yeah. Odd. We enjoyed several parades, including the Halloween ones, and found a great spot to view stars on parade by It's a Small World. We could all see very easily and had good space to sit down if needed. One of our favourite things was discovering all the hidden caves and walkthroughs in Adventure Isle area.
Oh, yeah.
Having been before as adults without a child, I had no idea there were so many additional areas to explore. The second day was the Disney 100 celebration. I've been looking forward to this as it was also my own birthday. Despite spending time researching the day, I could barely find any information. I was disappointed with the graphic release the evening before, as I felt it was quite vague and confusing. Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think we talked about it, didn't we?
we looked at that.
With
the
the
Sunday?
graphic release of what?
The one that
Sorry.
looked like a timeline with lots of different
Oh, yeah.
stars on it.
Yeah.
You didn't even want to look at it. It looked that
Yeah.
bland. You were like, take it away.
And some things were in different parks, but on different sides. Yeah.
Because of this, we ended up playing it all by ear and crossing our fingers we would stumble across some extra 100th events. We park hopped multiple times and caught little bits here and there. For example, seeing a meet and greet with Mickey in his 100th outfit at the studio park. The park was significantly busier than the day before, but queues were just about bearable. Having seen the start times of the drone show, Avengers Power of the Night, and the fireworks, Disney Dreams, we decided to try and see both and accept that our views might not be amazing. We were very impressed with the drone show. It was spectacular, and despite getting there quite late, we had a great view. We resisted the urge to rush off to the fireworks immediately afterwards, as many people did, and stayed for the 100th celebration post-show. Unfortunately, the show was just okay, and we were disappointed that there weren't any drones or fireworks. It was a projection on the Tower of Terror featuring a large storybook full of traditional characters. As the pages turned, outlines of the characters came out of the book as twinkly stars. The projection was pretty but quite samey and did not live up to the standards set by the original Avengers show. I kept expecting the images to turn into drones, which would have been great. Do you think the drones have to fly over to the other park? Do you think they went with everybody else?
Quick!
After this, we ran into the main park to catch the fireworks. We made it before the start, going down the arcade on the left to avoid the crowds on Main Street. As predicted, it was very busy and our view was obstructed by trees and other permanent features. We enjoyed Disney Dreams as it really is magical, but decided not to stay for the post-show, having been disappointed by the previous one. All in all, we had an amazing trip. Whilst the 100th celebration didn't add a lot, we will definitely be going back to the parks when we can afford it, as it was all so magical. For information, she then puts, 2 members of our party were vegan and they found it quite difficult to eat. They were impressed with the chakalaka meals in Hakuna Matata quick service, and although choices were limited, they had a lovely 3-course meal in Captain Jack's. Having said this, it was quite expensive. They struggle with snacks around the park, and it's a shame that there aren't more vegan-friendly snack options. The Starbucks and Pret in Disney Village seem to have slightly different recipes to the UK, and meals that are vegan here all had added ingredients, which meant they were no longer vegan. So that's from Nikki. Thank you, Nikki.
Very good.
That's like, get your act together. I don't think it's just Disneyland Paris. I think it's France.
Yeah.
Get your act together with the vegetarian and the veganism and the indicating it and marking it clearly and all the rest of it. We've had this feedback before and it's disappointing really, especially when it's just so ingrained in our eating culture now, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You don't really need to think about it when you're eating out in the UK, and it's a shame, crying shame. Other than that, I love to hear first-time visitors having that much of a magical time.
I agree.
And Smallwood being the favourite. Yay!
I remembered the name of one of those websites. It's Merchoid. And also, I just remember I got Lucy like a long Peter Pan coat, and people coming up to us in the parks and asking like, "Where'd you get that coat?" And it was an EMP.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that website's still going, but yeah, they do some interesting things.
Oh, yeah, I get spammed by EMP all the time.
Oh, do you? Well, I will now because I've just mentioned it and my phone's listening.
Mercedes says, how does that work with under twos because they don't have tickets right? Stroller stuff is all new to me. When we took Ollie the first time, he was 18 months, and yeah, you're right, he doesn't have a pass, so it doesn't matter. You just need to make sure that yours is done as you go through. But what we found when we had the pushchair was that they would open the door for us, but they would take the passes from Laura and scan the pass on one of the turnstile pieces, then give it back to them as they go through.
Yeah.
So just make sure you get it scanned and you'll be absolutely fine. And don't worry about your little one, because you're right. They won't have a ticket. Won't have a ticket.
Emma says she's vegan and would say they had lots available compared to the rest of France.
There you go.
You see, I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian, so I don't necessarily notice it, when we're elsewhere in France. But this is what we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
People saying on the show.
Now, the good news is I don't have 4 trip reports. I only have 3 because one of them was the one from Ben that we read last week, which was just a list of the things that he did every day, which was brilliant.
Love that.
And the other 2 are quite long ones, though, so I think we haven't really got time to do it now because we're up with time. So we have an anonymous report from somebody, from anonymous Disney fan.
Why anonymous?
So shall I read the start of this? I'd like to submit an anonymous trip report because we may or may not have bent the truth to get some time off work for our sneaky holiday. I'll leave it at that. And I'll leave it at that as well. And then we've also had one from Lisa Calf.
Tune in next week, maybe.
Which I will also read out.
This is like people turning to crime to get money for drugs. This is people turning to a life of lies so they can fill their Disney addiction. And I'm down for it. I'm basically a pusher.
Absolutely.
Let's be honest. Right.
So there we are. That's me for this week, I guess. That's us for this week as well, isn't it?
We have an extra 20 minutes going on over on our Patreon channel, the after show, the extra magic time.
Extra magic time.
Show after the show kind of thing, you know the deal. So if you are a Patreon member, you can sign on to that as soon as we sign off from here. We will see you on the flip side. Everybody else, we will see you next week. Have a lovely Halloween.
Yes.
Have a lovely time in Disneyland Paris to all those who are going. These have been the boys. I've been Lucy.
Bye.
She burped, listeners.
She couldn't have waited just a few more seconds until...